I'm going to be sharing a little bit about a color wheel to make your painting life a little easier, a lot less stressful, and more fun. So while we're waiting for everyone to jump on, Lindsay is here today as well. She's going to be manning the questions. You see that little hand wave over the side. So if you are just jumping on, let us know where you're hailing from, and let us know you're here. We have had a lot of questions about color wheel. So I went to college for fine art, and color wheel was one of the main classes that I took when I was a freshman. And we spent a whole semester just on color wheel. And I actually didn't get to use color until my second year in college. So that was kind of a bummer, but that gave me 2 years to learn all about color. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to share some of that information with you. We're not going to get real intensive. I want to keep it pretty simple and bare bones and make it functional because it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I think we just need to know what we want or what we need to really take the mystery out of color and make it a really fun time.
So we have Sharon joining us from
hi Sharon.
And we have I believe it's Linda from San Diego.
Oh, San Diego, I bet it's warm out there.
Jen from the office.
Hi Jen.
I believe this is Peg from New Hampshire.
We have
Mary joining us.
Hi Peg and Mary.
Let us know where you're coming from. We love to see where everyone's joining us. I think the last live with Jen, we had someone from Portugal. So
wow.
Always fascinates us where everyone's joining us.
And it's really easy with digital communication. And I'm back from the day when you had to pay long distance fees and everything just to dial the phone, party line and all that. So it just never ceases to amaze me how simple and how easily we can connect with each other. It's such a big plus for the painting industry. We can be friends and not even be together.
We have Janet from Delaware, Ohio, not too far away.
Oh, hi, Janet.
Okay.
So it's been kind of gloomy here, so we are anxiously awaiting the real arrival of spring. We've had like 2 or 3 springs, but we're waiting for the real one to come here and stay. All of the flowers are blooming and the trees are showing their glory, but I'm just not real confident it's going to be warm out for any length of time just yet. My dad always said, don't plant seeds until May 15th. So that's kind of my deadline in my head. I do have my patio furniture out, though.
My mom always said Mother's Day. Wait till after Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Which is around the same time.
Real close.
Yeah.
Right.
Linda said, yeah, that was Linda from San Diego. It is cold, drizzly, and foggy there today.
Oh, my goodness. Keep all that nastiness there.
We've had our share. It's supposed to rain. I don't think it has yet.
But it is kind of chilly outside. But next week, I think we're going to get into the 80s. So,
I just love
Ohio.
The 80s.
Play on words.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay.
For you here.
So I know everyone is familiar with color wheels, and there's all different kinds. If you do not have access to a color wheel, it really behooves you to get one and keep it for your very own. But if you want one like right away and you don't want to wait for one to come in, I think there's multiple images you can download on the internet that kind of give you the same layout and explain it all. And we could probably spend up to a half an hour just explaining all about the color wheel. But I want to keep it basic because we as decorative painters don't need to learn all of the terminology and all of the reasoning and everything behind a color wheel. Just want to keep it really simple and functional. And I think that's the key, is making it functional for our decorative painting world. Actually, you can use this in home decor if you sew or quilt, selecting fabrics, even in your wardrobe, trying to figure out what colors work together and make a cute little outfit. So color wheel is pretty much invaluable This is mine, and it's a little bit beat up, but it's been with me for years. I do have a bigger version of the same one, and I did bring it in. I think this one may have been discontinued because we haven't been able to find it. This little one is identical. So I brought the bigger one in just because it was visually a little bit easier to view. But I wanted to share the other color wheels. We do have these available, and I'm sure Lindsay's going to link them. But I'll go over just a little bit of the basics of the different types of color wheels. This one that I have is pretty simplified, and I think that's why I like it so well. Not only does it have all the colors broken down and then the different types of combinations that create a pleasant and pleasing color palette, but also I don't have to look really hard. I can visually lay it on something and kind of match the colors in through these little tiny windows. And that gives me, see how these two colors really are very similar. So I know this is my starting point if I want to select using the color palette as a guide. Basically, color palettes are, let me go to this one because it's a little more simple. It's divided in half, and I'll divide it here. This half is cool colors, and they're just very relaxing and very serene and just very calming. We go to this side, and it is hopping with color. It's really gonna pop. This is like energetic and exciting, the warm colors, and then this is just kind of cool and serene. So just looking at the starting color points is going to set the tone for whatever you're working with or painting on. All of the color wheels, it doesn't matter what color wheel you have, you're going to see these little triangles in the center, and these are indicators to select colors. And we'll go over that in a little bit, but I wanted to point out too, these colors are set up in rainbow order, and these are pure pigmented colors. And what that means, they don't have any other tones in them. You can go to these more intricate color wheels, and they're going to provide more options. Not only do you have the pure tones, but if you turn it over, and this one's a little bit bigger, you're going to get into, these are pigments. These are just pure pigments. If you look at these different shades of color, the first three always have a little bit of gray added, and you can see they get just a little bit darker in color. The bottom three are the shades, and that has just a little bit of black added. And as you go around the color wheel, you can see, let me zoom in just a little bit on the smaller one here. This packaging kind of makes it a little bit of a glare back, but you can see how the colors just become a little bit stronger as they get toward the dark color. So these are pure pigments, and these are the different shades. In addition to, on this type of color palette, they have little tabs up here. So if you were to combine red and green, you're going to get the brown color. If you combine yellow and blue-green, you get this color, and so on and so forth. So if you want to mix colors, in our decorative painting world, we have hundreds of colors already pre-mixed. It's easy to grab a bottle, but if you're looking for that certain color, you're not sure how to mix it, this is an ideal tool to use for that purpose. And it will show you also, here's black and here's white. So if you add black and white, which is really nice on these pure pigments to see what colors you're going to get when you add the white and the black to that. Again, on the back side, these are the shades. They get a little darker. You can add white in them and change them up a little bit, which will change the whole look of the color. Okay, let's go back to here. I think this one is a lot easier. This is our cool side and our warm side. This little triangle, let's go right here. See the black arrows? This is going to divide it. Go just a little bit. This will divide it in half. When I pick my black arrow on green, it's going to go directly across. Let's go this green. This is green and this is red. And these are complementary colors. If they are directly across from each other on the color wheel, when you do complementary colors, they are probably the strongest combination of colors, creates a really big impact and strong contrast. So these colors that are directly across from each other are always going to work well. And that's why red and green at Christmas is so pleasing when we come off of the fall colors and we're into all of these russets and reds and all of the or analogous colors on the color wheel. They're just kind of peaceful and they're just very warm and bringing in that autumn season. And then we jump to Christmas and boom, we're into red and green. And it's like, wow, how exciting. And it does really lift your spirits when you get that real strong impact of color. So if you're looking for colors that are going to really jump off of your project, if you do one across from each other on the complementary colors, it will always work well and you'll get that real strong impact. But what happens if you want to add a third color to that? It's a split complementary, and this is the little narrow triangle. So I've got green, purple, and then a little bit of a kind of a russet red. And those work really well. So no matter where you put them, you're going to get colors that are really going to work together well, gives you a little more variety and a little more interest. In that same respect, there's the triadic colors, and we all know red, green, and blue, or red, blue, and yellow are the primary colors. Everything is mixed off of that. So here we go, yellow, blue, and red. And everybody knows those are really strong colors and they work well, but then we can bump it over and we can go the yellow green, kind of a purple blue, and then go to this russet color. Beautiful combination. You can always have complete comfort in knowing that any of these colors are going to work well together. There is a narrow rectangle and a square that also provide more options. It's almost as if every color works together, but here's the secret. If you stick to these combinations, you always have the comfort of knowing that they're going to work well and not be too over busy or too complicated that the design is just going to be a lot of coloring and kind of confusing. I think that's what we need to do, is to simplify it, stick to the color palette. I do a lot of design work, and I'm telling you, I use this over and over and over because I know what I want to do. That's not hard for me to come up with a design. Colors where I struggle the most, because you know my saying, a little bit of color makes a big difference. So if the color is not chosen well, the results are not going to reflect it as well either. So when I'm working with a design, I pick one dominant color, and you can see there's stars at one point on each of these. What are these called? Graphic images, or little triangles and squares and rectangles? Polygons. Thank you, Lindsay. So if I decide I want to pick red, I can go to this and put it on red. And then I look and say, do I want to go teal and kind of a yellow green? I don't know. So maybe I'll think, well, I need another color. So I'll swing it around and I'll look at these 4 choices. Look at that and think about it. And I even can go to another choice and look at it and see, this is the purple one, see how that works out in my mind. If you are not a visual person, you can pull out bottles of paint and lay them beside and see how they look, and just visually, or just pick up, have a little swatch of paper and put some swatches or little strokes of paint on there. It just becomes very clear when you actually see those colors. I'm going to turn this a little bit because that is a little crooked. Okay. So this is how I begin selecting my colors, and just pick a few, keep it simple, and go from there. And I wanted to share with you, because I think I did post this on Facebook. I wanted to do a set of Halloween. And it's kind of funny because when I started working with the color wheel, I don't think about analogous and triadic and split complementary. I just look at it to see what's going to work and go from there. So don't drive yourself crazy trying to learn all the different terminology. Just look at the colors and use the wheel. Just keep it simple. I knew when I wanted to do this design that I wanted to pick colors that were analogous. And these are colors that are going to be in the same color family. So I didn't know what colors I wanted in the background, but I knew I wanted them to be cool, and I wanted them to have a lot of interest. I wanted to really pop and not be so muted and kind of samey. So I got my color wheel out and I thought, ooh, I like those colors really well. So I looked in my color stash and I found bottles of paint that pretty much matched these colors. And so if you, let's see, this one is real similar. And then I went with this one, and then the darker one. I knew these colors would work well. And so I thought, okay, so there's one color. And I knew I wanted purples, but when I went over here to purple, it was too dark. So I jumped over to the violet family, and I found out those colors. There's the darkest, that's probably the lightest, and then here in the middle is this one. And that family worked together really well. So after I did these two, I knew I wanted these two. It just was real obvious then this one was going to be in the middle. So I have every other one. They're still analogous. They all kind of blend together, but you can see how that works out. Very simple. The design wasn't hard, but picking the colors, if I didn't have my color wheel, I would have struggled with it quite a bit more. Can you see how that works out? If you have questions, let me know. Lindsay's sitting there. When I worked on, and this one's a really easy one to kind of figure out. This is all analogous. These are all blues and greens. They're just the aquas right side by side. Just all these pretty colors. I knew that was going to work. That was not a hard one. I was looking at different samples. This one, I thought about this for a while, and I thought, this is analogous because these are both kind of yellows and greens and a little bit of blue. So they're all right in here. And the difference is these have more, if we flip it over to this side, these are going to have more of the grays and the darker tones in them to bring that color down. So these are still analogous colors. It's just toned down with the blacks and the grays. Here's another one that I wanted to have a lot of color on it, but I wanted to keep it very cool and very calm. You can see this color trend right in here. Start out with the greens and just very cool all the way around. And this, I think this is a very pleasing palette. Just
Marty says, great information. Now I understand why all of your painting projects are really nicely coordinated.
it does make a big difference. I'm not that good. I have my color wheel. Give my color wheel credit. And I didn't realize how much I used it until someone asked about the color wheel. This one's kind of obvious. It's all greens with a little bit of gold in there. Just keep it super simple. Okay, so I guess actually we're going to have, I did throw a little bit of orange in there, so it's every other one. Orange, yellow, and green. Always works well. If you're second guessing a color, if you have a color wheel, it just really simplifies it. Triadic, that's the main big triangle. Okay, this one's kind of different. I'm working with blue, red, and yellow. Where's my little wheel here? That might work better for these bigger projects. Okay. So I've got yellow for the flowers, red for the stripes, and then blue for the background. Very pleasing palette. Very, what do they call it? It's by the book. Red, yellow, and blue. And this is the same red, yellow, and blue, but it has those warmer tones in it, or the grays and so it's just toned down. It's still red, blue, and yellow, but look at the difference. So you keep the saturation and the value, and some of these get into all of the values that are available by the intensity of the color. Like I said, you can go on and on with information about a color wheel. Usually, if you're using those tones, you can keep those in the same family ring. So if you go darker, then all of your yellows are darker and all of your blues are a little more muted and not so intense. On this color wheel, it's kind of fun to keep those in the same family. Everyone here has a number on the color. Because does that show up, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I pick number 7 in the green and I want to go to the blue over here, I would pick number 7 with the blue and then number 7 with this color down here. I'm going to drive everybody crazy going in and out here. And that way I know not only are these colors very pleasing, but they're all going to balance in their intensity. So you're not going to have a real heavy green and all these other light colors. They're just more balanced. So in addition to color families, they're also numbered. So you don't have to try to figure out, is this shade of green comparable to this shade of purple as far as the value, and that's the grayscale value that's on here. And I know they always say, well, you can take your grayscale and you can match up this shade with that shade and then go over. That's a lot of work. I don't want to have to do all of that. And this color wheel takes that guesswork out of it. Complementary colors across from each other. Yellow and purple. This yellow is probably a number 6. This purple is also a number 6. So you're thinking, okay, well, I don't know what color of paint this is. I have a suggestion. You can go online and download DecoArt's color chart, or you can create your own. There was a time when what I did is I took actual paint and I top coated each one of these. So I had the actual paint color on my paint chart. So, whenever you print something, sometimes, well, often the color that is printed is not the exact color as the paint. So you can go into, think, oh, okay, this must be purple petal because it matches. Well, actually, it might be purple cow, or I can't read that, orchid. This would take that guesswork out. I did not cover up the numbers or the name. I just put a swatch over top of each one. That way I knew my actual color. Another thing you can do is take a little tiny marker and put in here, oh, this is foliage green. So you could write foliage green on there. Or you could make a little list and put yellow green 6 is foliage green. That would help simplify it as well. That way you don't have to look at this color every time and think, okay, now what color was this? Oh, that's aqua sky. So if you put aqua sky on there, you always know if you want that color, you're going to grab the aqua sky bottle. What else is kind of cool about this particular color wheel is that I can lay it on the actual paint in the window, and I could look and see what color that is. And can you see how that matches? That way I know this and this are really close to the same color. And then if I have this marked what color it is, it's an easy grab for the exact match. Everybody knows complementary colors, Christmas, red and green. If you mix complementary colors, you're going to get kind of a brown. That's why brown always kind of just works in there like a neutral and not necessarily another color added. So all of these colors work together super well. On this one, really, I only have 2 colors, red and green, and then if you mix them, you get brown. But because we're spoiled, we grab a bottle of that color paint, and we use bottles of paint in lieu of mixing our own colors. But if you think about simplified colors, red and green across from each other on the color wheel, you know that if you mix those, you're going to get the browns. Add white, add a little black, you still maintain the same color palette. That's why this works so well. All of the colors are complementary to each other, and I know I can paint this in confidence knowing that it's going to balance out and be good in those shades. This one is the same color palette, just a little bit bigger, and there's the pinks, but it's still all red and green and brown. So you can see how easily it can be to simplify color choices. And it was kind of funny because when I was going through some of my samples, I found out, I didn't really realize this, but I found out what I like to do most, evidently, is the split complementary. And I think because that gives you your main color, and then it gives you choices of a couple extra colors. So on this, I have kind of a rusty red, and then the aqua and the green. I'm sorry, the yellow, the aqua and the green. Here we go. Yellow, aqua, and blue. Blue, orange, blue, and teal. Orange, blue, and teal. Those are my main colors, and they really work well together. I have a few pops of other colors, but my strongest main colors, these are the star of the show, are going to be the main colors. I kind of had to look at this one for a while because I had to think about it. This is red and green. I thought, okay, red and green. Let me go over here to red and green. And it's kind of a watermelon slice. So red and green, And I did throw blue in there. And I thought, oh, I didn't realize this was split complementary. But I have my shading in blue. So I've got red, green, a little bit of blue in there. And they are granted a little bit deeper tones, but it's a real simple color choice. These are a little more obvious. Okay, we've got teal and green right there, teal and green, and then red. So I've got teal, green, and red. What I did on this is I just bumped down into these different shades of the same tint. So I bumped down my tones and my shades. And you get this nice, really cohesive color palette. And this is the very same color palette, just a little bit stronger colors. Put these together. These are more corals and teals. These are just stronger, brighter reds and greens. So they are going to resonate just a little bit stronger, but they still are the same, that split complementary setup. This one I have red and green, and then I threw a little blue in there. So we can do the green and the blue and a little bit of red. And you can see how well that works together. The blue in here I think is amazing. It really made such a huge difference. The last one is this little guy. Green, blue, and then we come down here. Let's go this way. See, I have to think about this because, okay, so I've got my rust, my blue, and my green. Green, blue, and the rusty orange. I know it's going to work because the color wheel told me so. I don't have to think about it. It's so much easier not to have to struggle with color choices. And I know some of you had asked about shading and highlighting. I mean, it's all right here. If you pick this color, you're going to shade here and highlight here. If you want to get a little more, let's see, this one has a little more in it. Look at all these color choices. Again, you can drop the names of your, I didn't open this but there are all the colors around here. You can drop the names of the paint bottles on here. So you know any of these shades are going to work together really super well. It just, to me, it makes it a confidence tool that takes the guesswork out of picking colors. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. You can spend hours learning about a color wheel, but actually all you need to know is what works well for what you do. And again, I like this windows because I can pop them onto something and match the color exactly, and then I can match it up with whatever color combination I want to go with. Picking colors can become very overwhelming, but to me, the color wheel kind of eliminates that stress. And it gets down to the fact we paint because we enjoy it. If it becomes stressful, there's a tool out there, I'm pretty sure, that can help eliminate that issue when it comes to whatever's kind of creating a roadblock in your path of painting. Do we have any questions, Lindsay? I've been talking for quite a while.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, so if you do have questions, please put them in the comments. I always check this afterwards as well, and I'll be happy to get back with you to kind of help figure out if you're having issues with the color wheel or having questions on the color wheel, what's going to solve that problem. I think if this is new to you, I think that you're going to absolutely love the benefits that it offers. It has so many different avenues of approaching color. And I think color can drive you crazy, but it shouldn't. This is what we do for fun. I think I said that before. It's just something that has to be enjoyable and not stressful. And I like to just spin the wheel around and look at the colors that it creates. And it's like, did you know if you add black and yellow orange, you get kind of a olive green, just different things. Look, this is really a lime green.
Margot says that she loves your color wheel, the one with the windows.
Yes.
Sherry is saying this is helpful. Connie says, love your explanation. Someone by the screen name of QWERTY542, I love that name. Do you change the direction of the shading when you paint?
The direction of the shading.
Yeah.
As far as like lighter or darker?
I think so. I think that's what they mean.
When I shade, I usually put a float of color on, and if I'm not happy with it, I can enhance it. I like to go a little bit lighter and then kind of create the depth. And if you want to get real creative, what's my favorite friend over here? That is it this one? Yeah. This is my favorite friend. I put some matte varnish on it because this will not change the finish of the paint. A lot of times when you use varnish, it gets kind of slippery and it's hard to float or shade over it. But if you want to get adventurous and you're a little nervous about it, this is a safety net. Paint this on, let it dry, and then you can kind of play around with colors over top. I like to recommend light washes of floats as opposed to heavy. That way you can build it up, and oftentimes, once you put a color on, if you're not real thrilled with it, if it's too heavy, it's kind of an ordeal to tone it back or lighten it up. But if you put a light float on it and you don't like that color, you wipe it off and you can go to the next selection. And with this, any of these colors for shading and highlighting would work with any of these colors in here. So I know if I wanted to shade or highlight with any of these colors in this little family, it's going to be ideal. Sometimes it's colors you didn't think of. And you think, well, is that color going to be too light with that color? Try it and see. No, probably not. Would this one look better? Well, maybe on here it looks better, but when you paint it, maybe this won't be enough contrast to really build those highlights and create that dimension or whatever look you're seeking to achieve. So these color wheels are just indispensable. I use these almost with every project that I create, simply because it takes the guesswork out of picking the colors. I always tell the girls, they'll say, have you painted that yet? And I said, well, I've got it all sketched out, and I think I know my colors now, so I'm good to go. All I have to do is paint it. And to me, that's the easy part, is the painting part. It's just the figuring out how to make these colors work together and become really pleasing to your eye. And these are just such great solutions. Any more comments?
No more questions.
Okay, well, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to hit the bell, that way you won't miss out on future videos. We've been recording every week. I've been recording pretty much every week. The girls are doing a semi-pro stenciling videos on Thursdays, which are really great. So if you're interested in bringing friends into the painting world, if you want to create a design or a project that's super cute and it's not going to take more than just an afternoon to create, they have some really good tips and some great projects that I'm sure you'd want to share with your friends.
Yeah, come hang out with us. We like that. We have a little chat. Jen does a little painting.
They do have fun.
We do have fun doing it. All of our videos, whether it's Jen's, mine, or Chris's, will be available on our YouTube channel and our Facebook pages after they're over. So be sure to follow both of those. sign up, or so you know when we're going to be live.
Yeah, if you subscribe or if you sign up for our newsletter too, we have that. And we do post everything on Facebook as well.
And whether you're on our Facebook page, you can get notifications of being live, or our YouTube channel, you can get notifications of being live. The nice thing about YouTube is all the videos are in one place. Facebook, they're a little harder to find because Facebook's like that, but either one will work and they will notify you. So
I think you'll enjoy all of them because we try really hard to bring to you things that you're requesting. So if there's something you're struggling with, drop in a little note and we'll take a look at it and see if we can create an easier way to approach it.
Courtney says she already did subscribe. The subscription button is gray, not red.
Oh, really?
I thought
Okay.
it was red.
We thought, well, thank you for letting us know that.
Well, thank you for subscribing.
Absolutely.
There will be a video posted. Chris will have a video uploaded on Tuesday, a recorded video, a new one. It's going to be a surprise what it is. Can't talk about it yet. And then, of course, every Thursday, Jen and I will be back with stenciling.
We have a lot of surprises coming out. I'm working on a huge project right now. It's almost finished, 3/4 of the way finished or more. And we were hoping to release it next week, but it's a huge project, so it'll probably be the following week. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really have enjoyed it. And I've used my color wheel many, many times for this project, just because I wanted everything in it to just really be perfect. If you've not checked our website right now, I think we have 15% off.
15% off everything. So if you don't have a color wheel, now is the time to pick one up because they're an additional 15% off. That will be applied automatically at the cart when you check out.
That means no coupon code.
No coupon code. It just automatically comes off 15%. It's a great deal. So be sure to take advantage of that. That goes through Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Linda says, I've tried to sign up for the newsletter in the past. Is that still functioning? Newsletter is still going on. I will double check when I get back to the office for you to see. Might be so simple that your email blocked us. Sometimes they consider us spam, but I'll double check that for you. Karen asked, do you sell these color wheels? Yes, we do.
We sell, let's see.
I just put the link in the chat for you.
These three.
The one in Chris's right hand.
This one
is the smaller version of the one she was showing. The larger one
like
that she's been, it's that one.
This one.
The big one she was showing is no longer available, but it's the small one is the same thing.
This has a pack or a flyer inside that has a ton of information. Basically, every color wheel has a lot of information on it, how to use it, all the different choices. And this one's just a little more informative. It has everything spelled out. So if you forget how to use it, actually, I had to brush up on the terminology because I just use it. I don't have to remember all that. I just think it's fun to use.
It's kind of funny. I was listening to you talk, and I remember 6th grade art class, we talked about the color wheel, and all these terms are starting to come back to me now.
Complementary, analogous.
Yes. Yeah. And they're all starting to come
monochromatic,
back to me now.
Triadic. So I think you'll have fun with this. Kind of keep it in mind. Play around with it because it can solve a lot of problems. And we don't like problems. We want to make this fun and easy. Don't forget about Christmas Unwrapped. We have a new shipments going out June 15th. Mm-hmm. That'll be before you can blink. And it's so cute. Oh my goodness.
And right now, if they want to subscribe to Christmas Unwrapped, you have to do it by phone because that is the one thing that the sale is not good on because you're getting a good deal on that anyway. So if you do want Christmas Unwrapped, give us a call and Jen or I will be happy to assist you with that. Or to give you more information as well. So,
sounds good.
Okay.
Well, keep an eye out. We have a lot of great things on the horizon. New things every week. Tons of stencils.
A new product line's on its way.
Oh yeah.
An exciting new product line.
Yeah. That will be unveiled probably in about 2 weeks.
First week of May, maybe?
Yeah, I think
Depends
so.
how long it takes us to get it online.
We're excited about that. And I've got a couple new brushes coming as well. So, okay, be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and sign up for the newsletter. Let us know if you have any questions, put it in the comment box, and we'll be happy to get back to you. And as always, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to our next painting adventure together. Bye-bye.